like a boomerang banging Frankie on the head. So he threw it again, underarm this time, and once again it hit the power station. The hum became a loud grinding noise. Mum turned back to see the plate was empty. Frankie, you ate the banana skin? Yeah, Ma. It was yummy-tastic. Chocolate, now. Yes, of course. This time, the lady wasn't taking any chances with her fingers. She'd become attached to them. So she threw the square of chocolate up into the air for her son to catch in his mouth, the way one might throw a fish to a killer whale. Having had incredible success with her grapefruit and banana, the lady thought it time to become more adventurous. So this morning's breakfast was to be rounded off with an exotic fruit, a pineapple. Once again, Frankie managed to convince his mum that he had eaten it whole when he lobbed it out the window. Once again, it reached the power station, causing some kind of siren to go off in there. What a super breakfast, Frankie, said Mum brightly. We are on a roll now. A little later that day, it was time for lunch. Frankie's mum felt she should try her son on some vegetables. A cauliflower was the first one to be flung out the window as soon as Mum's back was turned. He threw it like one might throw a shot put. The boy was given another square of chocolate. Next, a platoon of peas was flicked one by one off the boy's plate. Ping, ping, ping. They all flew out of the window straight towards the power station. This was fun. And the reward was more chocolate. Pudding was a pear. The weird, misshapen, easily bruised apple-type thing was, of course, flung out the window, and it disappeared somewhere inside the power station. Mum was worried that because her son was being so good at eating all his fruit and vegetables, she was soon going to run out of chocolate. The giant bar was nearly gone. Dinner was a cabbage. This is a vegetable even people who like vegetables don't like. Even other vegetables shun the cabbage and won't be friends with it. Cabbage is a vegetable that gives other vegetables a bad name. Yet as soon as his mum's back was turned to break off another square of chocolate, Frankie appeared to gobble up the whole cabbage in one go. Really, it had to be launched out the window, once again landing somewhere in the power station, which was now giving off a red hot heat. By this time, Mum was beginning to become suspicious. I hadn't even cooked the cabbage yet, she exclaimed. I like it raw more, Mum, nutty nunty. The boy was searching for the word nutritious, but he couldn't find it anywhere in his brain, so he settled for something simpler. More things in it. Mum wasn't exactly sure what her son meant, but nodded anyway. Yes, good boy. Chocolate! Yes, of course. Coming right up. For pudding, Mum had planned to feed her son his most dreaded fruit, rhubarb. Now, Frankie, let's see what a good boy you really can be. If you eat your rhubarb, you can have 2 squares of chocolate. In fact, you can finish off the whole bar. As she turned around to pick up the bar, Mum noticed the window was wide open. That power station is very hot today, she said to herself before shutting the window. A piece of rhubarb flew past her head at speed. Whoosh! It bounced off the glass pane. Boing! and struck her on her face. Splat! Frankie, what on earth do you think you're doing? Demanded Mum. She was furious at having been fooled like this. I think that rhubarb thingy is still alive. As soon as I bit into it, it ran off. Did it indeed? Yeah, it ran across the table, then did this big leap thing off it to the window. Mum stared at the boy. She was fuming. Frankie knew the game was up. He hadn't seen that look since he'd swapped the family dog for a fudge. You haven't eaten a single fruit or vegetable I have served up all day, have you? Frankie was silent for a moment. Yeah, I have, Ma. Really? Yeah, I took a little nibble out of one. Which one? A pea. You ate one pea. Nah, I ate about half of one. It was a ranky-danky doodah. Totally disgustable. Repulsing. Never again. Right, Ma, give me the rest of the chocky now. There will be no chocolate for you, young man, cried Mum. Being called young man meant he was in serious trouble. Now get off to bed at once. But Ma, bed. Frankie shrugged and sloped off upstairs to his bedroom. He muttered something about not caring, but he did really. Nobody wanted to go to bed at 6 o'clock. Even babies were allowed to stay up later than that. Harumphed to himself as he slumped down on his bed. He stared out of the window. It was still light. Something strange was going on at the nuclear power station. Red lights were flashing everywhere, and workers were running around in what looked like a panic. Bed now! Shouted Mum from the boy's bedroom door. As he slid under the covers, she drew the curtains. Tomorrow we are going to start all over again. What? Guess what's for breakfast? Dunno. Something vomititious and all fruity. I bet. You are dead right, young man. Rhubarb. Nah, the boy bawled. Yes, rhubarb for breakfast. With that, Mum stormed out of the boy's bedroom, dramatically slamming the door. As she did so, bang. The lady then had a sit down in a darkened room. She couldn't remember ever being so angry. That night, Frankie found it hard to sleep. The thought of having to eat rhubarb for breakfast made his stomach turn. He tossed and turned for hours before finally drifting off. Zzz. The sound of someone or something tapping on his window woke him up. Frankie's eyes opened in terror. Was this one of those dreams where you dream you are awake? There it was again.